Have you ever been in a meeting with your CIO or board members, and suddenly the topic of cybersecurity comes up? Maybe you're an IT leader sponsoring a project, and someone asks, "How are you securing this?" Your immediate response might be, "I'll need to bring in the security expert to answer those questions." But here's the thing. Your executives are thinking, "You're the IT sponsor. You should be able to answer these general questions." Are you on the fence? Unsure if you know enough about cybersecurity to hold your ground in these conversations? If this feels familiar, you're in the right place. Let's dive into why this matters and how to approach it. We're going to talk about why every IT leader needs to have a basic understanding of cybersecurity, how much you should learn, and how to collaborate effectively with your information security team. Grab a cup of coffee and let's chat about cybersecurity as a core competency for IT leaders. I'm Tina Marie Baugh. I have over 25 years of hands-on experience in technology leadership. I aim to provide practical insights so seasoned tech experts turned managers can bridge the gap between their technical prowess and leadership excellence. Cybersecurity. It's the word on the minds of board members, senior executives, and even customers. Yet, for many IT leaders, it can feel overwhelming, especially if your focus has been on areas like networking, data management, or infrastructure. Here's the thing. No one is asking you to become a cybersecurity expert overnight. But what is expected, what's needed, is for you to have enough of an understanding to ask the right questions designed with security in mind and be a collaborative partner to your information security team. First, why should you even learn about cybersecurity? It isn't just the responsibility of the security team anymore. With breaches and threats making headlines, the accountability now spans across all IT functions. Whether you're leading an app development team, running an infrastructure project, or working with data systems, having a foundational understanding of security shows that you're thinking about the big picture, the company's reputation, compliance, and risk management. But it's more than just that. As an IT leader, you need to be able to follow conversations about cybersecurity, whether you're in a meeting with your InfoSec team or briefing security executives. If you don't understand the basic language and principles, you may miss critical information about how security impacts your project. Security isn't just an add-on. It influences everything from timelines to design choices and user experience. Secondly, by understanding the implications of security initiatives on your projects and operations, you can manage expectations more effectively. You'll be able to anticipate how security requirements might affect your team's workload, budget, or timelines. It's not enough to simply hand this responsibility off to a security expert. You need to make security part of the conversation from day one to ensure that your project is secure and that security is considered in every decision you make. This proactive involvement not only helps you avoid costly mistakes down the line, but also demonstrates leadership and foresight. Finally, when you're in front of senior leadership, the ability to articulate how you've collaborated with your security team to build systems with security proactively baked in rather than as an afterthought will set you apart. Executives are looking for IT leaders who understand that security is a business priority. They need to trust that you're not only focused on the technical delivery of your project, but are also protecting the company's assets and reputation. Communicating how you've integrated security into your project planning and operations will build that trust and boost your credibility as a well-rounded leader. So, how much about cybersecurity should you learn? It's all about balance. You don't need to dive into every technical detail or become an expert, but you should know enough to engage in meaningful conversations with your InfoSec team and make informed decisions as an IT leader. In general, here are a few key areas to focus on. First, you'll want to know which best practices your organization follows. Many IT departments adhere to the National Institute of Standards and Technology Cybersecurity Framework, often shortened to NIST CSF. Other frameworks like ISO, COBIT, or CMMC may be used depending on your industry or region. What matters most is understanding the basics. Principles like encryption, secure coding, network segmentation, and role-based access control. These concepts might sound technical, but think of them as the building blocks of security that your projects rely on. You don't need to know how to implement them yourself, but you should understand their purpose and impact. By understanding these best practices, you'll not only speak the language of your security team, but also ensure that your projects are being developed with security from the ground up. It's much easier to plan for security during the development phase than retrofit solutions later. Second is familiarizing yourself with risk management. Every IT project has risks, technical risks, operational risks, and yes, security risks. As an IT leader, it's your job to weigh these risks and work with your security team to prioritize them. For example, what's the likelihood of a particular vulnerability being exploited? What's the business impact if it is? Your security team will assess these risks, but you need to be part of the conversation to understand how they affect your project timelines, costs, and user experience. Learn how your organization conducts risk assessments. For instance, an application not using single sign-on might seem like a minor inconvenience, but your InfoSec team could classify it as a high risk because it opens up the possibility of credential theft. By understanding how risks are measured and prioritized, you'll be able to make better decisions and communicate more effectively with both your team and senior management. Finally, compliance and regulations are another area you must be aware of, particularly if your industry is subject to specific legal requirements. Whether it's the General Data Protection Regulation, GDPR, or the U.S. Health Insurance Portability and Accountability Act, HIPAA, or another compliance framework, these aren't just guidelines. They're regulations with real consequences. Fines, penalties, and audits can result from non-compliance, and you never want to be the cause of a major finding for your organization. Understand how your organization handles compliance. This might mean knowing which systems store personally identifiable information, PII, or how your team manages data retention policies. These regulations directly impact how you handle security within your projects. So even if compliance feels like a separate department's responsibility, it's important to keep it in mind as you lead your team. But having this knowledge is just the first step. To truly lead with security in mind, it's important to go beyond understanding the basics. You need to actively collaborate with your InfoSec team. One key piece of advice: don't treat your cybersecurity team as the Department of No. They're your allies, and the best way to engage them is to position yourself as a collaborator. Here's a practical tip. When presenting a new solution or a project idea, always start with the security implications in mind. Say, here's the solution I'm thinking about. How do we make sure it's secure from day one? This approach builds trust and shows that you understand the business's needs while ensuring security is baked in, not an afterthought. Remember, when executives know that their IT leaders are proactively thinking about security, it builds trust and confidence. And confidence is what you want in the boardroom. Let me share a real-life example from my experience. I was working with a team of network engineers on a large infrastructure upgrade. We weren't responsible for the cybersecurity directly, but we knew the upgrade would touch critical systems. So we brought in the InfoSec team early. At first, the security lead was hesitant. There had been friction between the teams in past. But instead of pushing back, we framed the conversation like this: we know there are potential risks, and we want to make sure we're accounting for them from the start. Can you help us identify any security gaps and work with us as we design solutions to close the gaps? That simple shift changed the dynamic. The InfoSec team became collaborators rather than gatekeepers. Ultimately, when we presented the project to the CIO, we were able to say, not only does this upgrade meet our technical and performance goals, but we've worked with the security team to ensure it's safe from threats. That level of collaboration made the project a success, and we avoided costly security issues down the line. This is the kind of proactive mindset you want to develop. And there we have it. 3 keys to making cybersecurity a core competency for IT leaders. Learn the basics of security, risk management, and compliance. Engage with your InfoSec team as collaborators, and build security into every project from the start to inspire trust from senior leaders and stakeholders. As we continue to navigate the vast and dynamic landscape of technology leadership, I invite you to dive deeper by checking out my other videos. Each one is designed to offer you actionable insights and strategies to enhance your leadership skills in the tech industry. Until next time, innovate, inspire, learn, and lead. You got this.